I didn't wake up that morning thinking, I'm going to ruin my life today. I woke up thinking, I've still got it. That's the embarrassing truth. Not I was lonely. Not he neglected me. Not we were drifting. I was engaged to a man who adored me, and I got bored with being adored. So I did what insecure people do when stability starts to feel ordinary. I went looking for proof that I could still cause chaos. I told myself it was harmless. A confidence check. A silly little test. A private experiment that I'd laugh about later. But the thing about tests is they're designed to produce results. And tonight I got one. My fiancé, Nate, proposed last fall at this small lake outside the city. Early evening, golden light, no crowd, no cameras shoved in our faces. He'd planned it for weeks. I cried. I said yes. It felt like stepping into a safe future with a man who genuinely wanted to build something. Nate is steady. The kind of steady that some women pray for and other women mistake for boring. He remembers my coffee order. He checks the tire pressure in my car when it drops. He doesn't flirt with attention. He doesn't keep options. He chose me loudly and privately, 100 different ways. And I loved him. I really did. Which makes what I did next feel even more sick. Because it wasn't a mistake born out of hate. It was a mistake born out of ego. The slide started with a stupid conversation at brunch. My friends and I were at this trendy place with overpriced mimosas and servers who call you love. Everyone was doing that thing women do in their late 20s and early 30s. Comparing engagement rings like their personality traits. One of my friends, Tessa, had just gone through a breakup with a guy who'd been almost proposing for 2 years. He told me he needed to work on himself, she said, rolling her eyes. Then I saw him on Hinge the next day. My other friend, Mariah, laughed. Men are always auditioning. Then Tessa looked at me. My ring catching light every time I moved my hand. And said, "You're lucky. Nate's obsessed with you." I smiled because that's what you do. But something in me didn't enjoy the compliment. It felt predictable. Like, yes, obviously he's obsessed. That's the point. Mariah leaned in and said, joking but not fully joking, "Do you ever worry you settled too soon?" I frowned. No. Tessa lifted an eyebrow. Be honest. You don't ever wonder if you could still pull. I should have laughed and said, I don't care. Instead, I felt that little sting. The one insecurity always knows how to poke. Because when you're engaged, your identity shifts a bit. People stop treating you like you're on the market. You become spoken for. Safe. Claimed. Done. And a part of me, an ugly, immature part, wanted to prove I wasn't done. So I shrugged and said, I mean, of course I could. Mariah smirked. Prove it. Tessa laughed. Okay, do it. Send a DM to someone hot. Just to see. I should have shut it down. Instead, I felt adrenaline. Like I was 22 again, and flirting was a sport instead of a threat to my future. I said fine. I'll do it. And they all leaned in like it was a game. That's how stupid it was. A game. I didn't pick some random guy. I picked someone who would respond. A guy named Logan who I'd followed for years. One of those gym content guys who lives online, always posting mirror selfies and motivational captions. Logan had slid into my DMs once a long time ago when I'd posted a swimsuit photo. I'd ignored it then because I was dating someone else. But now I wanted the validation. So I went to my DMs, scrolled up, found his old message, and typed, "LOL, I just saw this from forever ago. You still lifting like that?" My friends squealed like I'd committed a felony. I hit send. Instant dopamine. My heart was beating hard and I hated how much I liked it. 10 minutes later, while we were still at brunch, Logan replied. Always smirking face, what's up? Mariah gasped. Tessa clapped. And I felt powerful. Not because I wanted Logan. Because I wanted proof. So I flirted. Lightly. Carefully. Not explicit. Just enough to be dangerous. Nothing much. Just realized I've been missing out. Logan replied fast. Missing out on what? Tessa whispered, say you. I typed it. Missing out on you. When I hit send, my stomach dropped. That was real flirting. That wasn't a joke anymore. I stared at my phone like it belonged to someone else. But then Logan replied, "You trying to link?" And my friends erupted in laughter. And my ego, my gross little ego, lit up like a slot machine. I didn't even respond right away. I just sat there smiling like an idiot while my friends fed the moment. "You still got it," Mariah said. Tessa nodded like a judge. "See? You're fine." I should have closed the app. Instead, I screenshotted the messages and saved them. Because apparently I wanted receipts of my own stupidity. I told myself it would stop at that. Just to check. I wasn't going to meet Logan. I wasn't going to cheat. I wasn't going to blow up my engagement over a DM. But that's the problem with flirting when you're engaged. It's not about what you intend. It's about what you're willing to risk. I kept messaging Logan throughout the day. Little jokes. A few emojis. Him complimenting me. Me soaking it up. And then he said something that should have snapped me back into reality. "Send me a pic." Not nude. Not explicitly. Just a pic. I knew what he meant. A thirst trap. Proof that the door was open. I hesitated. Then I did it. I went into my camera roll and found a photo Nate had taken of me 2 weeks ago. Me in a fitted dress before a date night, smiling in our hallway mirror. A photo I'd loved because I looked good and Nate had looked at me like I was the only woman alive. I cropped out anything that hinted at Nate. Then I sent it to Logan. He replied immediately. "Damn. You're dangerous." And I sat on my couch, engaged, wearing a ring, feeling like I'd just done something thrilling. Like an idiot. Nate got home around 6:30. He kissed me like he always does. Quick, soft, familiar. "How was brunch?" he asked. "Good," I said too fast. He didn't notice. He went to the kitchen, started prepping dinner, talking about his day. He was relaxed. Happy. Planning the weekend. Asking if I wanted to look at venues again. I nodded at the right times while my phone buzzed in my lap. "Logan, you free tonight?" My stomach tightened. I typed back. "Can't. Another time." "Logan, why not?" That question hovered like a hook. And instead of closing the conversation like a faithful person, I did something worse. I made it a secret. I typed, "Complicated." Logan replied, "I like complicated." My heart started pounding again. I looked up and Nate was smiling at me from the stove. "You good?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "Just tired." That tired lie has ruined so many relationships. It's always the first mask. We ate dinner. We watched a show. Nate leaned into me on the couch, arm around my shoulders. And I still kept checking my phone. I'd tilt it slightly, hide it behind a pillow, angle it away. Not because Nate was suspicious. Because I was. And the guilt made me defensive before he even asked anything. Around 9:45, Nate got up and said, "I'm going to shower. Want to come with me?" He said it playfully. Flirty. Normal fiancé stuff. I should have said yes. Or at least kissed him and said later. Instead I said, "Not tonight. I'm exhausted." Nate paused. "Okay," he said gently. "No worries." He walked toward the bathroom. And that's when I made the decision that killed me tonight. I kept texting Logan. Not because I needed to. Because I wanted the attention more than I wanted the peace. Logan sent, "You got a man?" I stared at that message for too long. I could have ended it with one honest sentence. "Yes. I'm engaged. This is wrong. Goodbye." Instead I typed, Kinda. As if my engagement was an accessory. As if Nate was a maybe. I hit send and something in me felt nauseous. But the nausea didn't stop me. It never does. It just shows you who you're becoming. Logan replied, "Kinda isn't stopping me." And I smiled. I hate admitting that. But I smiled. Nate came out of the bathroom 10 minutes later, hair damp, wearing sweats. He walked into the living room and saw me with my phone. Normal. Except I jerked it down too quickly. And Nate noticed. Not because he was paranoid. Because human beings notice when someone hides something. He stopped. Who are you texting? My body went rigid. No one, I said immediately. Too sharp. Nate blinked. No one. I rolled my eyes like he was annoying. Just a friend. Nate's face didn't harden. It softened, which made me feel even worse. Okay, he said. Which friend? I laughed. Why does it matter? He sat down slowly, watching me the way you watch someone you love when they start acting like a stranger. It matters because you're acting weird, he said calmly. And I'm your fiancé. I felt the heat rise in my chest. The impulse to protect myself by attacking him. You're being controlling, I snapped. Nate's eyes widened slightly. I asked who you're texting. That's controlling, I insisted, because that's what guilty people do. They rename accountability as abuse. Nate went quiet for a long moment. Then he said softly, "Can I see it?" My stomach dropped into my feet. No, I said. Nate nodded slowly, like he was filing something away. Okay, he said. That okay was different from the normal okay. It had weight. He stood up. I'm going to bed. I exhaled, relieved for half a second. Then I heard him stop in the hallway. He turned back and said calmly, I don't want to marry someone who lies. My throat tightened. I'm not lying. Nate stared at me. Then show me. I held my phone tighter like a child clutching candy. Nate's eyes flicked to my hand. Then he said very quietly, that's all I needed to know. And he walked into the bedroom. I sat there frozen, heart pounding, thinking he was bluffing. He wasn't. 10 minutes later, he came out with a small suitcase. I stood up so fast my knees almost buckled. What are you doing? I demanded. Nate's face was calm in the scariest way, like he'd already mourned something while standing right in front of it. I'm leaving, he said. My brain couldn't process it. What? No. Stop. Over a text? Nate nodded. Over you hiding your phone like it matters more than me. I tried to laugh, but it came out shaky. You're being dramatic. Nate's voice stayed level. I'm being accurate. He walked toward the door. I stepped in front of him. Nate, it wasn't even serious. He paused, eyes steady. If it's not serious, you would have shown me. I opened my mouth then closed it. Because he was right. I tried another angle. Tears. I just wanted to feel pretty. Nate's expression flickered. Hurt. Then he controlled it again. I tell you you're pretty every day, he said. I know, I whispered. Then why do you need strangers, he asked. Silence. My phone buzzed again. Logan, you there? Nate's eyes dropped to the screen because the notification flashed. He didn't even need to take the phone. He saw the name. He saw the time. He saw the pattern. His jaw flexed once. Logan, he repeated quietly, like he was tasting the betrayal. I panicked and flipped the phone over like that helped. Nate exhaled slow. Hand it to me, he said. I shook my head. No. Nate stared at me for a long second, then nodded as if confirming the final detail. Okay, he said. Keep it. He stepped around me and opened the front door. I grabbed his arm. Please don't do this. Nate gently removed my hand. Not angry. Not forceful. Just done. Then he said the sentence that made my whole body go cold. I'm canceling the wedding tomorrow. I sobbed. No, please. Nate looked at me with eyes that were glossy but controlled. I'm not marrying someone who needs a test to know they love me, he said. Then he walked out. I stood there shaking, listening to his footsteps fade down the hall. And then, like a sick joke, my phone buzzed again. Logan, send me another pic. I stared at it, and for the first time all day my ego died. Because suddenly Logan wasn't exciting. He was just a guy who wanted attention from an engaged woman. And I was the engaged woman who gave it. I texted Logan, don't message me again. He replied instantly. LOL, your man found out? I didn't respond. I blocked him. Then I sat on my kitchen floor and realized blocking the stranger was the easy part. I had just blocked my own future. Nate didn't come back tonight. He didn't send paragraphs. He sent one message. I'm safe. Don't contact my family. I'll reach out tomorrow with next steps. Next steps. Like this was a business dissolution. And I guess it was. Because he was dismantling the version of us I tried to keep while I flirted with alternatives. The guy wins here because he doesn't wait around for my insecurity to evolve into cheating. He sees the behavior. He recognizes the disrespect. He refuses to marry into it. No screaming. No begging. No pick me. Just a clean exit. And me? I learned the hard way that if you test your desirability while engaged, you might get the answer you didn't intend. Yes, you can still pull. And yes, you can still lose everything because of it. My remarks. Hey guys, thanks for watching. She treated her engagement like a confidence experiment. Slid into a guy's DMs to prove she could still pull, hit her phone, and tried to frame Nate's concern as controlling. He won by recognizing the pattern early, refusing to marry a liar, and walking away before it became a marriage full of secrets. If you like grounded stories where boundaries beat excuses, subscribe. More tomorrow.